it's Ada from Poison Rock. Today it's my pleasure to have with us Kris Barras. I don't know say band, but it's just use of Kris Barras from Kris Barras band indeed. First of all, Kris, how's it going?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah, all good.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and as well, we are here, of course, to speak about the Halo effect and the imminent release. But of course, before speaking about that, it's the first time that we're doing an interview, and as usual with you in Poison Rock, we like to dig a little bit about your musical journey because we know, and the world knows you to be former MMA fighter and a athlete and really professional. But of course, coming from that world, I mean, music, I think, always been in your life. I mean, how started all the musical journey and how you choose to just say, okay, now it's music, my main focus. I'm gonna go ahead with because you have a lot of album already released yet. So how everything started.
Yes. So it didn't really happen like that. It wasn't like I stopped doing the fighting stuff and then was like, ah, I'm doing music. So like, I mean, I started playing guitar when I was like 5 years old. My dad was a guitar player and he was my first guitar teacher.
That's cool.
And then in my teens, I was in a bunch of different metal bands and stuff. And then I had a few cover bands. Like whilst I was fighting, I still did a few gigs. I had like a rock blues cover band. We just
Okay.
play in bars and pubs and stuff. Um, but then once I finished fighting, I was concentrating on the like the coaching side of things. I was a part owner in a gym. I also ran like a fight promotion. I used to promote events. And I kind of concentrated on that for a while, but I needed like a bit of an outlet because I wasn't fighting anymore. I had a few injuries and a few things just couldn't get to line up. And I just started writing some songs. I thought, oh, it'd be pretty cool to do a few gigs, try and get a couple of festival gigs, just small stuff. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. So for like the first couple of years, I was still doing both. I was still teaching at the gym, training fighters, and doing my show promotions and stuff like that. Whilst the band was going, but then it got to the point where the band was just too busy,
Okay.
and I had to step away from the fight stuff. Yeah, so it was kind of like a gradual
Yeah.
transition from one to the other, you know.
Yeah, and of course, in the Kris Barras band, I think there is not only you playing, of course, like several like hologram of Kris playing. I think there are other people involved. So first of all, let's introduce this other musician involved. And how did you meet them? I mean, they were just like musicians that you hire sometimes, because of course, like what I want to know is just mainly it's you that write all the part in the song, in the music, since like 13. I was,
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like technically, I'm a solo artist. I have a
yeah.
band. They're guys that are technically hired, but you know, it's a little bit more than that. The current lineup, which I hope never changes because it's amazing. It's by far my favorite lineup I've ever had. I got Billy Hammett on drums. He joined me in 2019.
Okay.
Amazing player, real solid player, and a great guy. Very very funny. Josiah. Jay Manning, who's on guitar. I first met him quite near the start, really, because I recorded at his studio. He owns a recording studio, Momentum Studios in Devon, in the UK. And I did a couple of albums there where he produced it, and then he ended up joining the band. So he's been playing with me since maybe like 2017, I think, sometime
Okay.
around there.
That's almost since.
And the latest members, Fraser on bass guitar, Fraser Kerslake, he joined just over a year ago, and he's great, amazing player. Like there's nothing he can't play on a bass. Again, great guy, really funny, and yeah, it's a great bunch of guys. So, with regards to the writing,
Yeah.
um, previously it's kind of been all me with the majority of me doing it myself. Then maybe like one co-write with Josiah on each album, and then I was working with a couple of guys in the States for a few songs as well. But for this album, The Halo Effect, it was the first album that Josiah and I co-wrote the
Oh,
whole thing together. Yeah. So we
okay.
started writing when we were on tour last year. We set up like a makeshift recording studio in the top lounge of the bus. And every day we were coming up with riffs and melodies and choruses, coming up with different tunes. By the end of the tour, it's quite a long tour. It's like 26 dates. By the end, we had a whole heap of songs.
Oh,
Then
okay.
sifted through them, and then went into the studio in the summer. We did a couple of co-writes with some American friends of mine, a guy called Blair Daly
Okay.
and another guy called Zach Malloy, and they write with like Shinedown, Hailstorm, Blackstone Cherry, lots of amazing bands. So we did a couple with the four of us together, and that was really cool too.
So you let's say that you okay, it's a you go raw together, but it's kind of an album that is written on the road, we can say, really literally on the road. So
Yeah,
of
definitely
course,
started.
yeah, of course you think in your opinion, I mean, in your of course the influences came from all these people that you met, like sound wise, lyric wise. They came to all this from the people that you co-wrote the album with. That it has some kind of impact in the writing of the album, so lyric wise and sound wise.
Yeah, I mean, like the set that we had for the tour last year was definitely the heaviest one that
Yeah.
we had done to that point. And it was just a great response. And you know, some of the sections like big riffs and stuff like that, the crowds were like going mad for. So that kind of inspired us. Like, right, we want to do. You know, I mean,
Something.
we didn't even really think about it. It was just, you know, we were inspired by that. So we were like sat, you know, on the bus, and everything was coming out nice and riffy, and still having like the big choruses and stuff that we like to do, but yeah, a lot more like riff focused on this album, and yeah, it was definitely inspired by the energy of the crowds on the tour.
That's really beautiful. But and of course, like we said, this album will see the actual release the 12th. But before this album, you had, of course, if I might have the information correct, the first one was Like It 13 in 2016, almost 10 years that you are official with the full length out. So it's already a while. And if you just think about, for example, just this album, like how do you feel respect, let's say, for the Hell Effect to be out compared to the first one? What
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's changed quite a lot, obviously, over the 8 years. Obviously, originally we started out a bit more. I started off more bluesy,
Okay.
in a more blues rock kind of way, and then gradually with each album, it's just got a bit heavier,
Have
you
you?
know. So, I mean, when I recorded Lucky 13, I did that in my own studio, produced it myself. It was mixed by my keyboard player at the time, Matty Muscles, a great guy. Um, you know, it was just designed just to try and get some gigs, really. Like,
Okay.
you know, we didn't have a big fan base or anything at that point. You know, I wasn't. It was what I was wanting to do at the time. You know, I wasn't wanting to commit to blues rock music for the rest of my life, because I think there's a lot more to me than just that one genre. You know, it's quite a narrow genre.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with chord progressions, vocal melodies, guitar techniques before you step out of those boundaries of what's
Yeah.
considered blues. So yeah, you know, it's just gradually exploring myself more as a songwriter and as an artist as I've gone on. And you know, like I said, I played in a lot of metal bands when I was younger.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of heavier music. I've always trained to heavier music. Still like playing the blues,
Okay.
but as a songwriter, I just want to explore. You know, I did 3 albums that were more blues based, and now I've got 2 that are a bit more like heavy rock. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I'm happy at the moment.
So so we can say that the album went like gradually growing the sound and the heavy in the toughest riff, like the heavy riff. They were growing up
Yeah,
gradually. So even for example with the last official release, That Valley Paradise, let's say the width is heavier than of course like 13. So because like you mentioned the like a 13 was you did it because you didn't think that you were going to be like, I don't know, committed to this being a musician, a singer, of course, and as a artist. And so when you realized that things changed actually for you, like this is actually the path that you are taking, that you're which you are now.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just been a gradual thing, really.
Okay.
Gradually, the audiences have got bigger, fan base has got bigger.
Yeah.
You know, I got signed. I'd written and recorded most of the Divine and Dirty album, which was my second album.
Yeah.
And before it got released, I signed to Mascot Records. and then I did 4 albums with them. Um, and yeah, that was kind of the turning point when I signed with Mascot, because big record label with like Joe Bonamassa, Kenny Wayne Shepherd,
Yeah.
Beth Hart, Blackstone Cherry, Vola. 10 years. There's like lots of like big bands, big artists. So that was definitely a game changer for me. That's what kind of kickstarted me on
And then,
this journey.
yeah, and of course, like I mean, you're used to the crowd, so for you, performing is not the problem. You are used to that. But in terms of performing live, because of course, this is maybe a question that I've been asked you thousand of times, million times, and then probably people will still keep on asking you even in the future, because that's sometimes you have like a stigma that you have always to answer. But I mean, since in terms of performing live, which difference you might notice to the people how they react from, for example, being, of course, being on a musical stage and being on a, I don't want to say MMA stage, but you know what I mean, like the audience. But you can say like is the same energy, is the same vibe. How do you perceive it? But like personally, not like to be objective, because of course we know objectively is different. But how you do you perceive it yourself?
Well, I mean, one thing. I mean, I definitely found, and I know other friends of mine who are fighters too got the same thing, is you don't really hear or notice the crowd when you fight. Like you kind of like feel it. If there's like a moment where, I don't know, you've tagged someone and they've wobbled back or something, then you can kind of feel the energy. But when you step into the cage or into the ring, because I also did Muay Thai as well as
Yeah.
MMA, the focus is so much on the opponent that you don't really, I would never ever really recognize the crowd or know it was there. Like you really hone in on your opponent, because you got someone that's there's trying to smash your head in. So, you got to you got to focus on them more than anyone in the crowd. So I never really noticed it. Maybe once you finish, but even then, there's so much adrenaline and so like your body goes through so much and so many like emotions. You don't really notice anything else. I'll hear my corner team, and I'm focusing on the opponent and nothing else really. When I'm playing, it's a different thing. I notice the crowd more than anything, probably too much. I find myself looking around the room and I say, oh, that person looks like he's not enjoying himself, and
And I
I'm
have
like,
to entertain him.
piss me off the rest of the gig. So
Yeah.
yeah, like it's a different thing.
Yeah.
I think I love
Well,
performing in front of like bigger crowds, and I love that energy that you get from like the live music, people singing along and stuff like that. That for me is like the best.
I mean,
So I much prefer that.
yeah, because of course, I mean, after like 8 years, you performing live, people know the lyrics, and I can sing along with you, of course. But as well, like this is a little bit off topic, but I think it's important as lot. I'm a naturopath. I'm a naturopath yoga teacher, so I've been a lot into Tai Chi more than that. But you know that when you are in the place that you are doing something, you have this huge amount of adrenaline coming into you. Is as well that for the music stage, sometimes we have to release that because of course there is the here and the now, which is the mindfulness. You have to be focused in the moment, but you have some way have to release it. People may found this way throughout, I don't know, Tai Chi, yoga, meditation, whatsoever. Did you had any way to do that, like one your own personal way, like to release all this adrenaline that you had? That maybe we can even advise to the people because we are fucked up with adrenaline and stress every day.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like performing live is my release. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
for me is the release. I mean, I still train now.
Okay.
Not as full on, but I still do like the grappling side of things, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that's good for me. That's good, I find, for my mental health, having something
Yes.
like that to do. It's one of those things, like it's a sport that it requires like 110% of your attention.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things, like you could be running on a treadmill and or running out in the streets or whatever, for fitness, but you can still be thinking about things, you know,
Exactly.
work stuff and
It's
like, yeah.
tough.
But with jiu-jitsu, like you can't be sitting there thinking about stuff that's annoying you because you just get choked out.
No.
So yeah, it's a great thing. So I really enjoy that. I try and train most days. I'm a little bit ill at the moment. I've got a bit of a cold, so I haven't been able to train this week because it's been a bit annoying. But
Yeah, doing
but
with
yeah, when I'm well, I try to do, you know, 5 or 6
okay.
sessions a week.
So that's something really important because sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of people from the Western world, like us and American, they forget how much is it, how important it is. A little bit of, I don't want to say commit to sport, but even just the smallest thing sometimes, like you say, could be yoga, could be jiu-jitsu, could be anything. Just it's good for the mental health a
Yeah,
lot. But we speak in mental health even about a little bit of anxiety, just that, just that. So thank you for saying that, because people when hear it from, let's say, the idol musician is different than hear it, for example, from me in a session therapy. With you, they might say, yeah, if you said that, they might be true. So it's a thank you for saying. Just coming back for the Halo Effect. You already released 4 singles from it. So
uh,
if am I right, Landslide, Savage Ace, Unbreakable, and Hourglass.
yeah.
So these are, I mean, I saw the video clip, is amazing. They're amazing. It's so I think that we are not gonna see there's other single upcoming to be released, or if there's gonna be the album straight away.
No, there's one more to come.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there's one more to come.
A lot of singles.
Yeah, very soon. Very soon it'll
So
be.
you are spoiling a lot already to tell about the album.
Well, yeah. So there was like 3 proper singles so far, and
Okay.
the extra, like Landslide was a bit of a bonus because we've done like we did a bunch of like unplugged tracks, 3 piano tracks and 2 acoustic tracks for like a deluxe version of the album.
Yeah.
And we're doing like a series of in-store acoustic performances and
Okay.
like quick things around the tour. So we released Landslide as kind of like a demonstration for that. So yeah, I mean, I don't really consider it a single as such, you know, but
Let's
yeah, I
say.
mean, yeah, it's like an extra bonus
And
track to
yeah.
like, as a teaser to show people what's coming up with the in-stores.
Yeah, yeah, and because of course the reading the title, it means like I said, like you said, you co-write this album as well. But we could talk, if you want to talk really about if there is a message behind this album in the whole effect, just not talking, about each song, what does it mean, but to take all like the soul of the whole effect. What is for
Yeah,
you?
I mean, there isn't really like an overall message for
Yeah,
the album. It's not like a concept album or anything, you
yeah,
know. The songs touch on lots of different themes that affect, you know, most people in some way or another, you
yeah.
know, whether it's like a failed relationship, being stuck in a toxic relationship, mental health battles, you know, things like that, standing up for yourself, you know, when you feel like you're being put down. You know, like, it's just kind of just different themes really. There's no like one thing
Yeah,
throughout the.
but themes that are people that can really rely on, that they can see themselves on, because it's our topic that we face everyone in our life, no matter the ages, no matter the gender. We face that in a real way, so people can look into the Hell Effect and feel the music and the lyrics and but in sound of sound, I mean, how would you describe really the Hell Effect in, like, I don't want to say maybe in an adjective, or in a sentence, or like, let's say, if you have to describe it really in a short few words, how you would describe?
The album, what the
Yeah.
title means, you mean?
No, yeah, I
The
mean,
sound of the
for
album.
you, like the sound, the lyrics, how you would feel to describe it.
I mean, I think, you know, there's a lot of different flavors in there. You know, we tried to go a bit more. We wanted to go more modern with like the productions. There's a lot more like modern production elements in there. But you know, it's just I'd just class it as like a modern hard rock album. You know, that's probably the best way to sum it up.
Like a modern, yeah. And as well, of course, throughout the song that you already released, And because of course we're speaking about the hell effect. There is one song that you felt, for example, that I don't know, you like to you or you're thinking to perform in live that say, okay, maybe this is my, like fun, I will enjoy, not because you prefer more than the other, but I don't know, for some reason you're gonna have fun or enjoy performing live, or you cherish, I don't know. Or another one that you would like to suggest to the people that say this, okay, since it's not a concept album, you're maybe want to taste hell effect before buying it, listen to the song, that song, let's say.
Yeah, so I mean, they're all, whenever we write songs, we're always thinking about playing them live. That's my favorite thing to do. It's why I started the band in the first place, because I just wanted to play shows. So they are all pretty fun to play. I'd say there's a song called Fall to Fly, which is probably my favorite at the moment. It's got a pretty cool riff. It's got a few pretty cool riffs in it, actually. We just had a few shows in Europe. We just did 3 shows, Paris, place in Netherlands, and Germany for Rock Palace. And we did 5 tracks there. So it was good to get, excuse me,
Okay.
to get out there and play them a little bit. But yeah, Fall to Fly is probably my favorite one to play at the moment. If I had to say a song that sums up the album, yeah, I'm not sure really. If you, out of the singles that have been released at the moment, maybe Hourglass is probably my favorite. Maybe just because I like the different textures.
Yeah.
There's a few like little bits in there. There'll be stuff that people haven't picked up on unless they're, a more knowledgeable musician. Stuff like odd time sections that aren't really like, it's not really jarring. It's not like, oh, well, this sounds like a Dream Theater song, but actually, if you count it, there's a few like odd time sections that are pretty cool, and I like stuff like that, where it's not so obvious, but it's a little bit more technical. And the midsection, the Dilator's got like a real like softer midsection, then goes up big and heavy. Guitar solo, it's kind of got a bit of everything we do, I feel like.
That's beautiful. You mentioned like about the live, the fact about like for you is important to play live, like I think for a lot of musicians. And of course, it comes easy to me ask, since there is such a big passion for you about the playing live, which is, I mean, a must in the music. If you did get any, I don't know, beautiful memories or some kind of any type of memories, even one memories about the playing live that could be even, I don't know, funny thing or a moment that you realize, fuck, I really did it in the music scene, like something that sticks with you still today when you perform live.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say there's probably 2, like, well, 2 really big ones with Kris Barras band. One was probably Download Festival. We had a really good slot on the second stage. We're on just before Miles Kennedy. We had a great crowd, it was a beautiful sunny day, and that was pretty amazing. And the other one is when we got to do the Royal Albert Hall with Blackstone Cherry. We opened up for them, and that was just incredible. The Royal Albert Hall, such a historical, legendary venue. Yeah. There was a moment in soundcheck when I looked across to Josiah and we were like, fuck, what are we doing here? This is crazy. Such a mad place. It's so tall. So you almost feel like you're in like a cave. Like we were soundchecking, like looking up and just got this big like Colosseum type place around you. It was pretty special. So I'd say those 2 at the moment are at the forefront.
And always staying on the live shows topic. What's going on right now about your future live shows? I mean, what's, of course, for all what you can say, if there are some live already announced, some festival that you're in, just to update who.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a UK tour that starts around the album release in a few weeks' time.
Okay.
So that's going to be cool. It's going to be our, in terms of ticket sales, is our biggest tour ever. So that's going to be good. And then we plan on just getting back out. We've got a few festivals in the summer, and then we're wanting to get back out to mainland Europe. Hopefully in the autumn. We got hit, like most bands, we got hit pretty hard by the pandemic. We had to cancel a whole bunch of shows. I think we had 4 shows lined up in Italy that got cancelled first.
Oh, we're in Italy. Who play for shows?
Yeah. March 2020, yeah, and it was like, about 3 or 4 days before we were due to leave. We had like 4 in Italy, and then we had maybe a couple in the Netherlands, and maybe 6, 7, 8 in Germany. It was something like that. But then obviously COVID came,
We know the
it all
story.
got cancelled, yeah, and then we've just struggled. We had a really big tour lined up. It never got announced, so I won't say who it was with, but it was with a
Okay,
very, very
of course.
big band. And it was 33 dates across Europe in like loads of different countries, and it would have been amazing. But then that got cancelled. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame, and we've kind of struggled to get started up again. So we've just done those few shows,
Yeah.
and now yeah, we're hoping to get back in autumn
Of
time.
course, because like you mentioned, if we go, I mean, for having 4 shows in Italy, believe me, it means that you're really demanded and really people ask about you performing in Europe. So I think that what you had planned will definitely happen again, even more maybe with the release of a Hell Effect. I mean, for sure in Italy, wow, who played 4 shows in Italy for I think almost maybe not even Iron Maiden. Okay, congratulations.
I mean, they're only small places,
Yeah, but
but
it's not easy, believe me. It's not still not easy. We have a beautiful scene, but it's really closed and it's hard to play. You can play Milan, whatever, but you want to go around. It's not easier, especially to go deeper in the south. Where I am in Sicily, yeah, there's nothing. Maybe just sea and trash. Let's say like that in the proper way of saying. But just coming back to the L effect. So the album, there are of course open. I think the pre-order now,
yeah.
so people can order. They can order yet some pre-limited edition. What is on the
Yeah. There's lots of different colors of vinyl. A few of
okay.
them have sold out already, but there's a few different versions. Limited edition vinyl, CD, signed CDs. It's actually available in cassette. That seems to have made a bit of a comeback. And yeah, of course, there's the deluxe version as well with the additional piano and acoustic
Yeah,
tracks.
because you mentioned about the fact that the acoustic tracks, and so let's say that after that there's gonna be some particular, like I don't know, because usually it may happen that you, after the day of the release or in the day of the release, you choose to have a, let's say, a proper release party. Did you choose to do that, or you just going on to like you mentioned those dates in
Yeah,
England?
the tour was actually booked first,
Okay, so
and then we had to fit in the album around that. I had the process of changing record labels. I signed with Earache for this album, which was a better fit for the heavier style,
yeah,
and it actually meant we got a little bit held up with going into the studio.
okay,
And basically, the earliest we could have released the album for it to have
yeah,
a proper campaign was like the same week of the tour.
yeah.
So that's how it's worked out this time around.
Yeah, okay, of course. So let's say that people just can really just go and check it out and get physical copies, streaming, whatsoever platform, something. There's a new single coming out. We don't say when or what single is it, just a surprise. Okay, so I want to say thank you, first of all, Kris, because it was really kind of you to just, even do the interview with the flu, with the cold. It's not easy. I mean, I can understand that. I don't take it for granted. Never take for granted nothing, the time especially. I wish you the best for the album, but we know that it's gonna go fucking great. And looking forward for the new single. And one of these 4 gigs in Italy, I think will be maybe even 5, who knows? So I'll see
Who
you
knows?
in Italy then. Thank you so
Yeah, hopefully.
really was a
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you
bye.
very much.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.